Hi, I'm James and welcome to another edition of Coach's Corner. In today's Coach's Corner we're going to be discussing ankle mobility, as poor ankle mobility is one of the most common issues we see in the gym. And when we're talking about ankle mobility today, we're really talking about dorsiflexion range, and dorsiflexion being the action of closing the angle at the ankle, so drawing the shin towards the toes. And the reason this can be a big issue in the gym is it can cause a lot of problems with common exercises. So it can cause an issue with exercises like back squats, front squats, single leg squats and pistol squats, which require a good amount of dorsiflexion range to be able to get into those positions. And if we take the example of a squat, so with a squatting action, the knees need to be able to travel forwards, so we need to get a good dorsiflexion range to allow us to perform a nice squat with a relatively upright torso. And if we can't do that, if we're limited in that ankle range, what happens is the knees can't travel forward and the only space to go is back, and we end up running out of room and not being able to squat to a proper depth, and the torso having to come more and more forwards. It can also cause problems with knee instability. So what we find is people with very stiff ankles, once you run out of space to go, once the knee can't travel any further forward, it tends to drift inwards. So these issues of this knee valgus movement, this knee collapsing inwards, are more common with those with stiff ankles or poor dorsiflexion range. Okay, so how do we test ankle mobility? Well, it's a very simple test that you can do at home, just using a wall and a ruler. I've marked this one off with a red line at 12 centimeters, but you don't necessarily have to have that marked off. It's just so you can see easily at home. And what you're going to do is what we call a wall dorsiflexion test. So you're going to place the ruler against the wall. You need to be barefoot for this one. And then you get into this half kneeling position. You're going to line your toe up at that 12 centimeter mark. You go hands on the wall, and then you're going to push the knee into the wall, crucially keeping the heel down. Now, if you can get that knee all the way into the wall with the heel down like this, that's considered a pass. Okay, so that would mean you've got good ankle mobility and you can properly stop the video there. If you can't do that, okay, so if you can't get the knee into the wall or the heel lifts up, then that would be considered a fail, okay? So you can get a more accurate score, you get a specific score for you by then adjusting the position of the foot away from the wall. So if you couldn't reach the wall in this position, what you would then do is move the toes a couple of centimeters further forward and try again. If you can get it there, this would be your score, or just keep adjusting the position until you can find your score. Okay, or alternatively, if you could get it, you can move further out and find the place where you can no longer keep the heel down, or you can only just keep the heel down, and that would be your dorsiflexion score in centimeters. Okay. Okay, so how do we improve your ankle mobility if you do have a bad score? Well, we use a three-step approach recommended by physiotherapist Dr. Mike Reinold. The first step being myofascial release or foam rolling. And we would do that by foam rolling the calves, okay? So we would take this position and we would roll the length of the calf for about 30 seconds, spending some time with the foot pointed straight up, some time with the foot pointed out to the side to hit the lateral aspects of the muscle, and some time with the foot pointed inwards to hit the medial portion of the muscle. And if you find a tender spot, you would pause on that spot and then point the toes towards you and away and hold that position for about 10 seconds. Okay, so that's step one. Step two would be stretch. Okay, so we're going to stretch the calf. And there's multiple different stretches that we can use, but the one I really like in this case is this wall calf stretch, where we're going to dig the heel into the wall. You're going to go toes up against the wall, the leg is straight, and then you're going to push the hip forward, and you should feel a big stretch all through the calf. And the nice thing about this one is we're stretching out the calf, but also the plantar fascia under the foot. The third step would be immobilization, and here we're going to take a position pretty much like we were in with the test. Okay, so we're going to get into a half kneeling position with the foot into the wall, and then we're going to push the knee forwards, bring it back until we get to that position where we can feel a stretch, again making sure that the heel stays down, and then we're just going to come in, hold for a couple of seconds and come out. Try and take it out a bit further, come in, hold for a couple of seconds and come out. The important thing here is that the knee is always traveling over the toes and never falls inside. And we're going to try and progress this slowly over time. And about 12 to 15 repetitions. Pause and come out. Okay, so these are the 3 steps we're going to use to try and improve ankle mobility. How often should you do these? I would recommend daily. You can do the test again to check your progress and see how you're going. And if you're going to be training on that day, I would do it as part of the warm-up. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.